Hello, everyone. Welcome back to SmartSpeak Podcast, where real conversations help you speak real English.
I'm Liam.
And I'm Emma.
So grab a coffee, sit back, and let's learn English together.
Let's get started. Today, we are diving into a topic that touches everyone, which is how to build confidence. Liam, have you ever felt completely terrified before speaking in public?
Oh, absolutely, Emma. Many times, especially early in my career. My hands would shake, my heart would race, and I would forget my words.
That sounds so familiar. A lot of our listeners probably feel exactly the same way when they have to speak English. It can feel like your brain just freezes up.
It really does. But here's the surprising part. Feeling nervous is completely normal, even for professionals who speak on stage every single day.
Really? Even people who look completely calm and relaxed feel nervous behind the scenes?
Yes, exactly. In fact, scientific studies show that public speaking is one of the most common fears in the world, sometimes ranked higher than the fear of heights or spiders.
That is incredible. So if everyone feels this way, what separates confident people from the rest of us?
Well, confident people don't wait for the fear to go away. They learn how to act despite the fear. Confidence is a skill you develop, not something you were born with.
I love that idea. It means any of our listeners can build their confidence step by step, just like learning a language.
Exactly. It is all about shifting your perspective and practicing small habits daily.
So, if confidence is a skill, where do we actually begin to build it? What is the very first step?
It usually starts with how we talk to ourselves. Most people don't realize this, but we carry a continuous conversation inside our heads all day long.
Ah, the inner voice. Mine loves to remind me of every small mistake I made 5 years ago.
Right! Psychologists call that negative self-talk. It is like having a bad coach in your head, constantly telling you that you are going to fail.
That must completely destroy your confidence before you even try to do something new.
It really does. For example, when learning English, your inner voice might say, "Your accent is terrible," or "Everyone will laugh at you."
So, how do we stop that bad coach from talking? Can we just switch it off?
Not exactly switch it off, but you can change what it says. You have to catch yourself when you think something negative and replace it with a realistic, positive thought.
Instead of saying, I can't do this, you could say, this is difficult, but I am learning and improving every day.
Exactly, Emma. That small change shifts your mind from a state of fear to a state of growth, which is essential for building real confidence.
That makes so much sense, Liam. Changing your inner thoughts can change your outer reality. But what about our body language? Does how we stand or move affect our confidence too?
It definitely does. There was a famous study done at Harvard University about something called power poses.
Oh, I think I heard about that. Is that where you stand like a superhero with your hands on your hips?
Yes, precisely. The researchers discovered that standing in an open, powerful posture for just 2 minutes could significantly change your chemical balance.
What happened next was unexpected, right? Did it actually change how people felt inside?
Yes, their stress levels went down, and their testosterone levels, which is the hormone for confidence, actually increased just from standing differently.
Wow, that is amazing. So your body can actually trick your brain into feeling more powerful and secure?
It really can. Before a big meeting or an English presentation, standing tall, pulling your shoulders back, and taking deep breaths can change your performance.
I am going to try that before our next recording session. It is a simple physical tool that anyone can use anywhere.
It is simple, but incredibly effective. Your posture sends a strong signal to your mind and to the people around you.
Speaking of sending signals to other people, Let's talk about making mistakes. Many English learners lack confidence because they are terrified of saying the wrong word.
That is a massive barrier, Emma. But let me share a short story about a friend of mine named Carlos, who moved to London a few years ago.
Oh, I love stories. How was his English when he first arrived?
It was very basic, and he was incredibly shy. He would barely speak because he didn't want to make grammatical errors. He felt invisible.
That sounds so lonely and frustrating. How did he break out of that cycle?
Well, one day, he watched a colleague who spoke English with lots of mistakes, but with absolute confidence and high energy. Everyone loved talking to this colleague.
And this changes everything. He realized that communication is not about perfection. It is about connection. Exactly. Carlos changed his goal. He stopped trying to speak perfect English and started focusing on making people understand his ideas. That is a beautiful lesson. Once you stop treating mistakes like crimes, you free up so much energy to actually talk.
Absolutely. Mistakes are just proof that you are trying and pushing your boundaries.
That story about Carlos is so inspiring, Liam. It really highlights the difference between perfectionism and effective communication.
Yes. Perfectionism is actually the enemy of confidence. It sets an impossible standard that no one can ever achieve.
I agree. If you wait until your English is absolutely perfect before you speak, you will wait forever.
Exactly. But here's the surprising part. Native speakers don't even use perfect grammar when they talk naturally in daily life.
That is so true. We use broken sentences, we hesitate, and we use filler words all the time without realizing it.
We really do. So when language learners try to be flawless, they are actually trying to achieve something that native speakers don't even do.
That must be a huge relief for our listeners to hear. The real secret is just to keep moving forward, despite the imperfections.
Yes, and that brings us to the concept of competence. True confidence comes from competence, which means you get better by doing the activity repeatedly.
So action comes first, and then the confidence follows later. You can't just sit on your couch and think yourself into being confident.
Exactly. You have to step outside your comfort zone, even if it is just a tiny step each day.
Pushing outside your comfort zone sounds great, but it can be really scary. How do we make those steps feel manageable rather than overwhelming?
The best way is to break them down into very small, bite-sized actions. Psychologists call this micro-bravery.
Micro-bravery? I like the sound of that. Can you give us a real-world example of how that works?
Sure. If your goal is to speak English in a group, don't try to give a 1-hour speech on your first day. Most people don't realize this, but that is a recipe for failure.
Right. That would just terrify you and probably make you want to give up completely.
Exactly. Instead, your micro step could be just saying good morning to a coworker in English, or asking one simple question during a meeting.
So you accumulate small victories, and over time, those small victories build a solid foundation of confidence.
Yes, precisely. Each small success proves to your brain that you didn't die from the experience and that you are capable of handling it.
It is like building muscle at the gym. You don't start with the heaviest weight. You start small and build up gradually.
Perfect analogy, Emma. Consistency is far more important than intensity when you are trying to rewire your brain.
We have talked about mindset, body language, and small actions. But what about the environment around us? Does who we spend time with impact our confidence?
Oh, tremendously. There is a famous quote that says, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with."
Wow, that is a profound thought. If you are surrounded by negative people who criticize you, your confidence will naturally drop.
Absolutely. What happened next was unexpected in a study about social circles. Researchers found that low confidence can actually be contagious.
Contagious? Like a cold or a virus? That is fascinating and a little bit scary.
Yes, if your friends are constantly complaining and doubting themselves, you will subconsciously start doing the exact same thing.
So, to build confidence, we need to actively seek out supportive, positive people who lift us up and encourage our growth.
Exactly. Find people who celebrate your small wins, especially when you are learning a new skill like English.
That is why building a supportive community, like our SmartSpeak listener family, is so incredibly valuable for language learners.
Definitely. Being in a safe environment allows you to practice, fail, and grow without the fear of harsh judgment.
I completely agree, Liam. Having a great community changes everything. Now, let's look at another tool for confidence, which is preparation. How much does knowing your material help?
Preparation is the ultimate shield against anxiety. If you know your topic well, your brain has a roadmap to follow when stress hits.
That makes sense. If I am totally prepared for a presentation, I might still feel nervous, but I won't get completely lost.
Exactly. And this changes everything for language learners too. You can actually prepare for common conversations in advance.
Oh, like practicing how to order food, how to introduce yourself, or how to ask for directions before you go out? Yes, exactly. You can script out your responses and practice them aloud at home until they feel natural to your mouth and ears. That sounds like a fantastic strategy. It takes away the element of surprise, which is often what triggers the most panic.
Right. When you have a prepared routine, your brain can rely on muscle memory instead of trying to create sentences from scratch under pressure.
So, combined with micro-bravery and a good posture, preparation gives you a complete toolkit to face any social situation.
It really does. Confidence is not a mystery. It is simply a combination of preparation, action, and mindset.
This conversation has been so practical and helpful, Liam. We have covered a lot of ground today about building confidence.
We have, Emma. But I want to mention one more thing that people often get wrong about confidence.
Oh, what is that? Is there a common myth that we need to bust before we finish?
Yes, most people think that confident people never feel self-doubt or insecurity. But here's the surprising part. They feel it all the time.
Really? So even the most confident leaders, actors, and speakers have moments where they feel like a fraud?
Yes, it is actually called imposter syndrome. It is the feeling that you aren't as confident as others think you are, and that you will be exposed.
It is comforting to know that even highly successful people experience that. It means feeling doubt doesn't mean you lack confidence.
Exactly. The difference is that confident people accept the doubt as a natural human emotion, but they don't let it make decisions for them.
They acknowledge the feeling, but they still take action and move forward with their plans anyway.
Spot on, Emma.
Confidence is courage in action. It is choosing to move forward even when your knees are shaking.
That is a wonderful note to wrap up on, Liam. Let's quickly summarize the actionable takeaways for our listeners today.
First, monitor your inner voice and replace negative talk with growth thoughts. Second, use open, powerful body language to signal confidence to your brain.
Third, focus on connection rather than perfection and embrace mistakes as learning tools. Fourth, use micro-bravery to take small daily actions.
And finally, prepare for your conversations in advance and surround yourself with positive, supportive people who cheer you on.
These are such practical steps that anyone can start using today to build their confidence, not just in English, but in life.
Absolutely, Emma. Success is built on these small daily habits.
Thank you for joining us today on SmartSpeak Podcast.
If you enjoyed this conversation and learned something new, don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with a friend.
Keep practicing, keep improving, and keep speaking English.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.